I'm not sure how much it will be able to understand this particular book, uh, Risk, Uncertainty, and Profit by Frank Heinemann, right? But there are some things which are very important because we are trying to understand from our position how we are formed into this competition process. Whenever we think of ourselves as an individual, or when we think of ourselves as successful individuals, we always think that our performance is being assessed by result of a process of competition, and this makes it very very vague. What is our identity as a part of a competitive process, as a student or as a member of a whole society? Who are we? So for this reason, I am reading Frank Heinemann Knight's very classic book on the theory of competition, and it's called Risk, Uncertainty, and Profit. So I read only 2 pages from this book in earlier video, page number 197 and 198, and in this video I'm going to read a little bit more. So this chapter is about what are the minor premises for a perfect competition, and by perfect competition, actually there is, we only know in hints and bits and pieces. For perfect competition, we require an adjustable individual who have plenty of adaptability and he can adjust to the opportunities. Not he doesn't, our professor doesn't use the word opportunity, but he says that the individual can adjust to the system, and there is not a delay, that when information is available, he has the tendency to adjust. But now, since human beings have limited cognitive capacities, therefore there is some delay in adjustment. So there is not a perfect competition, but the assumption of perfect competition is like this: whenever there is a change and the individual knows that he has to change, then he can change. That's the assumption. So let's read more. As a consequence of the appreciable demands of the natural agent, the flexibility of the economic organization as a whole is restricted, and the criticism made by Mr. J. A. Hobson and Professor Weiser against the productivity theory is true to a considerable extent in many individual cases. There are many productive organizations consisting of small numbers of rather unique agents which very effectively supplement each other and are not so effectively demanded elsewhere. In such a case, competition does not afford means of distributing the entire yield of the group among its members. I don't understand what this point is, but I assume that there are some strategic organizations where every individual is unique, but the number of individuals is quite low. And since everyone is unique, so in such a case, competition does not afford means of distributing the entire yield of the group among its members. An appreciable part of it resists automatic division and remains a joint product, dependent on the peculiar effectiveness of the particular organization. Many partnerships illustrate this point. Imputation goes as far as the group giving that its proper income but fails to distribute accurately with it. In case of a partnership, this division between the members is usually made on ethical grounds or on the basis of bargaining power. Sheer personal force. In industry at large, the special product of the organization above that competitively assigned to its components is likely to go, largely at least, to the entrepreneur, though bargaining power or the strategic situation always plays a large part in the proceedings. So, okay, so here he is talking of the economic sense of transactions when you're working in a company and you are drawing any remuneration from the company, then your personal commitment is derived from the financial reward you are going to get, and that is also directly dependent on how much the company needs you, and on the other hand there is also certain personal force, sheer personal force or bargaining power, which is part of how much you will get. So this is this here. So the same factors give rise to a peculiar difficulty in dealing with the law of diminishing returns. When any agent is by its physical nature or any particular circumstances available only in relatively large blocks, so that only a few, perhaps only one, is used in a single competitive organization, the technological features of particular combinations may cause apparent exceptions to the law at some points. These may be apparent for certain sections of the curve for the simple reason that one element is not subject to decrease and the best proportions can be secured only by increasing the other elements. See guys, this sentence is so big, but it is very important. So we have to read it one more time. Uh, when any agent is by its physical nature or any particular circumstances available only in relatively large blocks, so that only a few, perhaps only one, is used in a single competitive organization, the technological features of particular combinations may cause apparent exceptions to the law at some points. These may be apparent for certain sections of the curve for the simple reason that one element is not subject to decrease and the best proportions can be secured only by increasing the other elements. Okay, so here it is a case where let's guess what it might mean. So in diminishing returns, there is a situation where you have some components of the organization, but one component is quite bigger and you cannot see the direct correlation between the other components because the other components might be subjected to changes in a up and down manner or in a more or less manner, but this component is more, has become more important. But when you try to see how the other proportions or how the best proportion can be secured for making this profitable, this component profitable, you have to increase the other elements also. So you cannot decrease this element's importance, even though it would have been better to decrease this element's importance. But if you want to increase the performance, you have to increase the other elements. So there is a problem with the combination of this component. So let's see what is the example. A conspicuous example is the case of railways. The principal crucial agent being the right of way. Okay, thank you for your support and let's stop here.